is an introduction to syntactic analysis. Let me just start by saying that if you do not have any knowledge of your parts of speech that was taught back in your primary school or in the secondary school, if you don't have the knowledge of that, you cannot get it. Oh no, you may not get it. Let me not use you cannot get it. But let's just try and see if we can make this interesting to us this evening. Now, this is premised on Chomsky's aspect of syntactic structures. That 1957 syntactic structures. But I've modified it with the recent models of syntax to make it easier for us to understand. And so I will start by telling you this. If you are analyzing any structure, if you want to analyze any structure using the Chomskyan model of grammar, then you can use either of these three methods that I'm going to introduce us to. And then when I introduce the three methods, I want you to use structures. Use your own structures, analyze them using those methods. And by that, you can get how easy it could be to analyze structures using transformational generative grammar. Now you can use the phrase structure rule, and I'll call that PS rules. You can use the phrase structure rules. You can use your label bracket, the label bracket LB. Then you can use the third one, phrase markers. Phrase markers. That's our PM. Alright? If you are using the phrase structure rules, it is such that you can describe not just phrases, but even clauses or even sentences. So that you will not say because the name is phrase structure, it is only limited to the analysis of phrases. No, you can analyze clauses and sentences using the phrase structure rule. Now, the phrase structure rule is such that whole constituents are described. You describe whole constituents by expanding them. Let's use an hypothetical sentence. For instance, our hypothetical sentence is as, wow, is as or breaking. This is a sentence. Breaking into, I've said the phrase structure rule applies to clauses, applies to sentences as well. So the sentence can expand to or break into NP, that's our noun phrase, inflection on VP. Our hypothetical sentence can break into the noun phrase, the inflection, and the verb phrase. Now, this inflectional note that you see here, I will explain this. Let me just start with the NP. The NP is our noun phrase. Are you with me? This is our noun phrase. I don't want to take it so rigid so that we understand what we are saying about syntactic analysis. I said you can analyze sentences using the phrase structure rule. You can use the label bracket. Then you can use phrase marker. Now I said if you are using the phrase structure rule, it is such that the constituents, you expand it to the right of this arrow, like it is extended. See, our hypothetical sentence is here. This is the sentence, and it can be expanded into the noun phrase, the infill, and the VP. Now, the NP is such that can also break into, I think we remember our transformational generative grammar, that we can generate infinite number of sentences from a limited number or from a limited rules. From the rule, we can generate unlimited number of sentences. And that's why from this NP, we can say from here, the NP into the determiner and then the noun. Alright, this one can also be a pronoun, the determiner and the noun. Now, it can also be the determiner, it can be pre-modified or post-modified. I'll give examples of this, but I want us to get the basic constituents that we have here. Maybe I should just do this. I said sentences break into elements that we have here. So the NP can break into elements that we are having here. It can be pre-modified or post-modified. Now, the determinant or the article, this one can be articles. Now, the NP can also break into determinant, adjectives, and then the noun. Alright? It could be just the N. It could be determinant and the hen. Then the hen, I said, could be a pronoun. Then it could be determinant, adjectives, and noun. Now, it could just be this N as we have it here. Now, I will tell you how it can further break up when we start doing the analysis. Because we can still have structures even under the NP, alright, that we can use to describe, that we can describe and break further using the phrase structure rule. The infill is as the obligatory agree, that's agreement, concord, and then it has optional, it could be the modals could be optional, that's not obligatory, but the tense also could be in the present, it could be in the past. Then we have our VP. Now from here, let's just go on and see if we can use sentences. For instance, if I say the blackboard, and so this is our noun phrase at the NP. So if I say NP, you know I'm talking noun phrase. So this is the NP, and so we have here NP breaking into these elements. Then ADJ, and then noun. That's the blackboard. I just want to make it look this simple for us, then before we go into other analysis. Now, the VP can break into V, the VP breaks into V, and then NP. Alright? V and NP. Now, like we have the noun phrase. The noun phrase is a group of related words. Let me not just jump in. This one, the group of the words must be related. Group of related words with the noun as the head, or the noun as the key word there. Alright? The same thing applies here is the group of words that has the verb as the head or as the key word. We can also have the prepositional phrase, the PP. We can have, like I gave you here, I gave ADJ, I should even put, that could be ADJP. That's an adjective phrase, like we have the noun phrase. Then we can also have ADV, ADVP, the adverbial phrase. Now I will give sentences to illustrate these ones, even as we progress. Now let's go to the label brackets. The label bracket is such that constituents are enclosed in square brackets, like we have here. You enclose constituents in square brackets. So if you want to use the same that we have there, the blackboard, that's our NP. Then we should have another one. The black. Then our hen. It should enclose it. It should be enclosed in it. This should be enclosed air. This should be enclosed air. And that's our hen. Then please do not forget, now we can clean this. Do not forget we have to close each of the brackets that we have opened. We have opened N, we have opened ADJ, we have opened the terminal, then we have opened the NP. So we must enclose each and then we just put it in the blackboard. And that's enclosing it in square brackets. Now let's go to phrase marker. And that's where I want to dwell a little. This is also known as tree diagrams. This one is also known as what? Our tree diagram. And it is such that we represent constituents. We represent constituents using trees. And the trees are such that we put them in the downward direction to show the expansion of these constituents. What do I mean by this? If we have in a tree, our tree is not such that it will grow from the roots. Like we have trees growing from the roots and then the round expand. No, it will come from up and then it will expand even to the to each category. It will expand. It will expand to the category. Now let's just give an example of this. Let me say this first, that a tree diagram is a notation used in explaining how sentences are arranged. It's a notation. The tree diagram is a notation that you use in explaining how sentences are what? Arranged or represented. Now this is our subject. This is our sentence. So from this sentence we can say we have subject here. We have predicate. I'm just trying to bring out another hypothetical structure for us to work with, that the sentence could break into subject and predicate. But since we are not limiting ourselves to just subject and predicate here, we are going to look at phrase markers, the tree diagrams. How can we represent constituents using the tree diagrams? Now let's see if we can use the same sentence that we have there. Let's use it as this is our NP. And what's our noun phrase now? The black boy. Alright? I'm thinking I should say the black boy in the garden, but let's just say the black boy. So if you are saying the black boy is such that we have ADJ and then the hen. The blackboard. That's simple. Now the black boy in the garden. How do we represent the black boy? Let's try the black boy in my garden. The black boy in my garden. Now let's see if we can try that. So we have the NP. This whole constituent is still what? NP. So the black boy in my garden. How do we break this? Using the tree diagram notation. We have the black boy, NP, in my garden, PP. Remember our prepositional phrase, NP and then PP. So how do we break down the noun phrase? It will break into what? We'll break the NP just the way we have broken this. And then the PP. Let's see what we can do with the PP. The PP will be P and NP. That's our preposition as the head and then the noun phrase. So this will be in. Then the NP will further break into what? The terminal and noun. This is my, and the noun is garden. So let's see if we can go over what we have said so far, and then we'll continue from here, maybe to applying rules even further to further do our analysis. I said the syntactic analysis can be done using these three methods: the phrase structure rules, the label bracket, and then phrase marker. And I said the phrase marker is also known as our tree diagram. Then the phrase structure is such that all constituents expand, like we have seen here. Expand using this our hypothetical sentence. Expand as this, our NP, infield, and VP. And then we can have NP as this. The infield is the this is agreement, and then we can have modals too. Modals then tense under the infield. That we can further expand as our class progresses. And then I said we have the label brackets, where we represent constituents in square brackets. And I said once a bracket is open, make sure it is closed. You can see this NP is closed by this, then the determiner, the adjective, and the noun. Our own is just to fill in our example, the black boy, and just fill it into our label bracket. Then the phrase marker, and I gave the example, the hypothetical example of a sentence breaking into subject and predicate. I said this, our noun phrase, if you are using our noun phrase as an instance, this the boy, the black boy in my garden. The NP, as we have seen, will break into NP and PP, as we have these two entities here. Then when it breaks into NP and PP, the NP will take our determiner, adjective, and noun, and then the PP will break into P and NP. And that's what I've just done here. The P is the hint, the NP breaks into determiner and noun again, determiner mine, and then the noun garden. See you next week. Thank you very much.